Hi Mansa, how are you?
Yeah, hi Rakesh. I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you. So, can you tell me something about yourself?
Yes, Rakesh. So I have been working in the IT industry almost 6+ years. So I have started my career in Cognizant Technology Solutions as a manual tester. So after 3 years, I got to know automation have to be learned. So then I started my career to learn the automation using selenium with Java. So then I moved to Deloitte, and there I'm working as an automation tester and a manual tester too. So it's been 2 years I'm with Deloitte currently.
Okay, great. So, what is test strategy and what do you mean by test planning?
Yeah, so the tester strategy means it is like for the all the type of projects. We can say it is like a company strategy. So it is applicable for all the type of projects. Whereas test plan is the so we'll be taking the base of we'll be using the test strategy to implement the test plan. So it is like that. Test plan is like for a particular project. We will be having a document there for all future activities.
Correct. Right. Okay. And what is the difference between test strategy and test planning?
You want me to repeat, Rakesh?
Uh, yeah, so you told about test strategy. It's a set of guidelines that you can tell that explains test design and determines how testing needs to be done, right? While
Hmm.
test planning is more about a software project that can be defined as a document in which we are mentioning the scope, objective, approach.
Scope,
Yeah.
objectives.
Now, which are the other differences apart from this between the two?
So apart from that, mainly what I have observed is it strategy means it applicable for all the. I
Mm,
mean, let's say for the company, this is the strategy for doing some testing activities. Whereas in test plan, we will be doing all like resource planning, roles and responsibilities, scope in what the features to be tested, features not to be tested, the schedule time, so what have to be tested, so what are the environment setup, so what are the tools required if at all we are committed to automation. So the
mm,
all the testing future documents will be having, and the test plan will be based on this test strategy and the SRS document, whereas test strategy is the BRS document. It
right,
will be based on that we will be.
correct. Now, can we change the test plan or test strategy? What do you think?
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
test strategy is a static one, whereas test plan is a dynamic document. Whereas we have to change upon I mean, whatever the testing activities we are doing is a
Absolutely.
dynamic one.
Test plan can be changed, right? But test strategy cannot be changed. So
Yes.
you were perfect with the answer. Okay. Now let's move to more questions. Now, what are your roles and responsibilities, and how do you, divide your time while doing various tasks in a project?
Yeah, first I'll go with the roles and responsibilities in a day to day, whatever I'm doing. So,
Mhm.
once the sprint planning is done, so the user stories, whatever, I mean, in the PA planning from the product backlogs, we will be taking the sprint backlog items, we can say.
Mm.
So, from the, let's say we have 10. So, for the sprint, based on the priority by the business analyst, we'll be having, let's say, 3 user stories. So we will be receiving the user stories for the sprint, which is having 2 weeks. So
Mm.
in that, so first I will be go through the user stories, whatever I have assigned to me. Let's say one user story assigned to me. So how is my role will be like? I will understanding the requirements. So then I will be discussing if we still have any doubts with the business analyst. So then I'll be proceeding with the test design. So there I'll be doing the test design for valid and invalid test data using some strategies techniques we have. So I'll be using all the boundary value analysis and all the techniques I will be using it. So then once it is done, I'll be by the time code is ready, I'll be ready with the test cases so
Mm.
that I'll be having the good knowledge on the requirement. So then once the code is developed, so I'll be starting my testing execution. I'll be starting. So within that sprint, I mean, based on the complexity of the user stories assigned to me, I'll be spending the time. If more whenever I'm doing the execution, I'll be seeing more or less I'll be seeing the defects, and I will be logging the defects, and I'll be communicating with the DAO. So and so I have found after all the steps I have done from my side, I'll be writing the reproduction steps, and I'll be before raising a bug, I'll check from my end 2 to 3 reps, then only I'll confirm this is a bug, then I'll be going to the DAO team, then I'll be raising a bug. So then once the DAO is fixed, I will be retesting the bug, and then I'll be closing that particular user story when all the bugs are closed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my roles and responsibilities. And how I divide my work means, however, I'll be spending my 60% of work to the deliverables,
Mm-hmm.
and the remaining 20%. So now I'm having experience of almost near to 7, right? So already I am using like I mean, under me already some freshers are joined. So with that, I am just exploring my team lead skills. So then I'll be reviewing the test cases so that I'll get some knowledge. So they are taking my guidelines. So being a senior, so then I'll be spending 20% on that, and the remaining 20% I'll be working on my. So let's say we have the automation tool selenium with C sharp, and whatever the technology is upcoming, I'll be spending for my upskilling. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll be spending the 20% on that.
Right, right. I think it was a good answer. You covered almost everything. So whenever this question is asked, you can tell, the way you answered, 50% of the time goes in testing activities. 20% you told about test case review. Then in upgrading yourself, you're also adding. Apart from this, you can also add a point on client communication. Let's say you might be communicating to the client or stakeholders, right? So you can add that thing also to your answer. It will be also good. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Mhm. Now, you might be involved in test estimation. Let's say if one user story has been there and project manager, business analyst, the development team is sitting over there. Now you are being asked to do the estimation of the story from the testing perspective. How will you do it? And what are all the different factors that you will consider while doing test estimation?
So whenever in the sprint planning, some user story is coming, then first I'll be understanding the complexity of the user story. So whether it is easy or it will take some more test data, or it will take much time, I mean, on the regression part or whatever. So I'll be understanding the requirements first. So then I'll be having some conclusion saying that, I mean, how many story points I can give that. So let's say if it is complex one, I'll be giving the 2 story points. Let's say in our organization, we are giving one story point means 8 hours. So including test design on the discussions with the BSA, so BA. So I accordingly I will be estimating the hours. So in that we have to give the developer hours as well. So whenever we do the I mean sprint planning for any user story. So likewise, based on the complexity only, I will be deciding. That is the main factor I feel.
Okay. So complexity is one of the aspect. Any other factor that you are considering while doing test estimation?
The risk
Risk
factor.
analysis. Uh-huh. Right.
The risk factor I will be looking after,
Mm-hmm.
and complexity, risk, and the timelines, because anyway we are giving the time in the estimation only.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
I feel these two.
Yeah, yeah. These two, it's good. Almost it covers. Complexity is one of the thing. So you will decide the rating of the user story. If it's very highly
Hmm.
complex story, then you will break it into subtask and then you will divide it among your team members. As you are mentioning, you have a team along with you, right? Then you can also consider the acceptance criteria of the story, whether they cover the non-functional aspects, testing aspects, or just the functional testing aspects. If they are covering non-functional testing aspects, like you have to do performance testing for that particular feature, or you have to do security testing, then you can decide the
Okay.
time accordingly. because it will take some time. Apart from the functional testing, you have to dedicate yourself for doing performance testing, security testing, and it's not gonna happen in 1 or 2 hours. Okay, you'll have to run
Hmm.
those tests on the JMeter multiple times. Let's say if you find some API is not responding up to the
Hmm.
mark, so you will assign that bug to the developer. The developer will fix that thing. Again, he will give the bill to you. Again, you'll have to do the entire regression and API testing like that. So just one of the aspect, right? So apart from functional, what you can think from is the non-functional testing aspect as well. Now, considering to this scenario, let's say if you are doing such discussions, okay, it might happen that the POs or the business analysts might not have thought of such thing. Let's say if, for example, it's a search functionality. Okay, now they might not have thought about those aspects, but being a test lead, you can suggest them that let's do this kind of testing also, because it is actually going to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a good quality. It's going to impact the quality of the product, right? So that thing you can tell.
yeah.
Okay,
So the
now
type of testing also, it is a
type of
factor. The type
testing,
of testing.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, now what tools do you use, and can you tell me the pros and cons of those tools, or why are you using only those tools as well?
So you mean to say the project management tool?
Project management tools, test management tools, any tool that you are using for defect management. Yeah, which are the various tools that you are using?
Yeah, yeah. So in my previous, I mean, I used to have with the Jira, but currently we are using the Azure DevOps.
Okay,
So
Azure.
I feel, but Azure DevOps, so I feel more than Jira, it is more advanced. I feel so in that Azure. So the I mean, making the user story splitting and I mean, organizing the user stories and bug tracking and the deployments when the automation we had done the CI/CD pipelines using GitHub. So I mean, I feel this is the advantage as of now. I mean, I am not sure about the disadvantages of Azure DevOps I've seen because I worked with the Jira. So
Mhm.
comparatively, it is better, I feel.
Okay, so you mean to say you are able to trigger your automation using Azure DevOps and simultaneously log the defects in the same tool itself?
In the same tone, everything.
Okay, so everything is covered in one tool.
Yeah, everything is covered, for developers and for the automation, for the testers.
Mhm.
Everything is in one we have now.
Right. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Uh, Now there was a release. One of your application or one of the software has been in go live. Okay, the release has already happened. Now in the production environment, customer finds some one or two critical defects. Okay. Now he has reported those defects in the defect management tool, or let's say test management tool, but that particular issue or the problem is not yet resolved. Even let's say 7 days have passed, a week has passed, but still those issues have not got resolved. So as a test lead, what will you do to restore the confidence of the customer and ensure that these things are not being repeated in the future?
So if it is taking 7 days means might be the one the major issue would be that we couldn't be replicated yet. So
Mm-hmm,
already anyway, once the bug is traced, we'll be doing the root cause analysis.
mm-hmm,
So whether it first will be checking in the QA environment, and if it is reproducible, we can communicate with the dev to fix it. But if it is because of some browser issue, some OS issue, some network issue, so
mm-hmm,
because of that, some mostly like auto save related issues will, I mean, will occur like that. So they will be reporting the bug, but so when we do check now, so it will not be replicated. It is happening only with the delay
mm-hmm,
in the reproduce steps only. Maybe because of that only the how to satisfy means. So
mm-hmm,
anyway, we have to agree because we have delayed.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Once it is delayed, no, so I mean, we can clearly communicate with the customer saying that we cannot be reproducible. So we will be involving in their production environment. Then we will be seeing it. If it is not reproducible, I mean, if we will clearly say that I mean, do the step again from their end.
mm-hmm. All right.
So likely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is one of the aspect. Apart from this, what you can add into the answer is you'll establish a daily communication channel. Let's say every day at the end of the day, you will update them with the progress that your team has done from the development as well as
Okay.
from QA perspective. That so and so scenarios, let's say XYZ points, you can list down and send them in an email. Next thing is you can schedule a meeting with them and you can ask one of their member to be available, and along with you, you can take an help of a developer or let's say test lead, dev lead. Okay, some architect involvement is there, so you can involve them and you can conduct a working session with them. You can ask them to reproduce the issue and you can record that particular scenario. Next thing is you, if let's say if you are coming to the point of compatibility testing, let's say some OS or if it is some environment pertaining issue, then what you can tell them, you can request them with the environment details, like what is the GB or what is the processor that they it has been used, whether it's an VM or it's a local machine, whether it's AWS like space or Azure. So those kind of details that you can ask them. And at the end, what you can do as a kind of a prevention is that you can incorporate that particular use case or defect into your regression test cycle, so that
Regression. Yeah.
not been repeated in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so those are the things that you can tell in an interview. So see, this is absolutely a mock interview. You might be having some interviews in the upcoming days based on the test lead, because you are already having 6 to 7 years of experience. So that's why I'm just helping you with the points, and it
Yeah, yeah.
depends on interviewer also how he is seeing. But try to add more and more points. What else you can think of going beyond the level? Everyone needs getting a manager position or lead position is too good, but everyone is looking for a successful manager position. Like, how will you bring success in their project? Okay, so those are the things
Right.
that you can take care. Okay, now next question is, okay, now let's say you are uh, doing testing on one of the project, any project, let's say if it's an e-commerce based or insurance based project. But in the discussion or while doing testing, you see that the requirements are changing every day. The requirements are not static. They are dynamic ones. Every day there are one or the two changes coming in the stories. Okay. And you see this as a big risk, in the project itself, because it is going to affect the timelines. You'll have to update your test cases. You will have to be, very much collaborating with the project managers, business analyst. Now, how will you approach this kind of scenario or situation? What would be your test strategy for this project?
So if it is frequently changing, anyway, we are using the agile methodology. So it
Mhm,
is like 50%, it's all the issue. But
mhm,
if it is like frequently changes, if the timelines are affecting, first I'll be going to the supervisor of the manager of this. Then we will be having a good communication with them. So why it is changed? So what are
mhm,
the reasons behind this? So based on the input, because if something has to change frequently means anyway we have to satisfy the customer. So that is our end goal. So we should not be frustrated like I mean the requirements are changing, we couldn't do the testing, so we can't say like that. So we
mhm,
have to adapt to the customer requirement. That is the end goal of our. So we have to make sure that we have to focus only on the quality of the requirements whatever they are giving it. I
mhm,
mean, so regarding the time frames, anyway, we have to communicate with them. So because as it is, we have to upfront, we have to say that as it is changing, it is taking the I mean, time for developing as well and the testing as well. So I
mhm.
mean, these factors, yeah.
Right, definitely. You'll be, highlighting these things every day when you have, let's say, daily status calls, or when you are sending weekly reports or daily reports as well. You will be highlighting these things, that these are the risk factors that we are considering in the project, and accordingly, some XYZ percentage of time would be needed if after once
Mm.
the entire thing is stable or static requirements are all done, then this much amount of time you will require for only testing. Okay. Okay, now consider a small change in this question. Okay, consider now it's December 2021, but there was one project which was being developed in your organization and it was tested as well. So it was completed in Jan 2021. Okay. Now all the people, all the team members who are working on that particular project, either they have left the company or they have been moved to another focus project, and you don't have any requirements or any BRDs as of now. Okay. Now you are being asked to do a regression testing on this particular project because enhancement is not there. It was tested earlier, Jan 2021, it got released. No one touched anything on that. Now you and your team are asked to do a regression testing on this project. You don't have BRDs or anything. Now, what will be your test strategy?
Yeah, so when we not provided with any documents, so
Mm-hmm.
first being a tester, I'll be having some knowledge. So
Right.
with that knowledge, I'll be doing the exploratory testing.
Mm-hmm.
So on the application, so with that and so the next step is anyway I'll be doing the exploratory testing. So and besides that I'll be communicating with the BA as well, so so that I'll be getting some more points to whatever the understanding I have correct or not. Then I'll be going to the production bugs or the raised bugs, so that I'll be covering the edge scenarios as well. So
Mm-hmm.
these are my approaches, and mean with the understanding I have, I'll be making also a document as well, so
Mm-hmm.
that for the future reference it will be have at least for my to be proceed with the test cases, it will be useful for me. So like error guessing, exploratory based on the experience, I'll be go with the application. Then I'll be confirming with the bugs and the BA. So then I'll have some conclusion on that application. So with this approach, I do follow. If nothing is we have.
Right. No, no, this is a good answer. You don't have any FRDs, BRDs. You'll have to start with the exploratory testing, and you'll have to, coordinate with BAs. And one of the aspect is, coordination with the BAs. Based on them, you can document few of the test scenarios, high level test scenarios at least, so that your team can move ahead and they are not blocked on the requirements thing. So this is a good answer. Okay, now coming to the next question. You have a team of 6 to 7 members. They have mid-level of experience, like 2 to 4 years. Someone is having 1 to 3 years of experience in this, and they are writing test cases on different stories. Now you are asked to review their test cases. So which are the different factors or parameters that you will consider while reviewing the test cases?
So while reviewing the test cases, now first I'll be as the test cases are already completed, I'll be checking the RTM directly. So
Mhm.
first I'll be having the requirements, so that at least for one requirement, two or three test cases or one test case is mapped or not. So and the techniques we have like boundary analysis, static transitions, decision table. So we have some techniques in the so that because testing is like exhaustive, we cannot do everything. I mean, we can't do 100% testing. So based on that thing, so whether they have included that invalid, I mean that strategies they have used, techniques they have used or not.
Mhm.
So and the invalid data and the valid data, positive, negative scenarios they have included or not. So
Mhm.
if this approach I do follow, I mean, while I'm reviewing, so I should not spend long time on these things. I should have understand the requirements anyway. So I'll be first verifying with the requirements I have, then I'll be following some techniques. So with that, I'll be verifying the test cases.
Right. Okay. Any other thing that you would like to add?
Mm, yeah, the regression, the regression, the critical functionality. Okay,
Mhm.
anyway, the critical functionalities included or not, or so let's say some production work happened, so is it included in this file? They are going with the new functionality or regression.
Right.
Maybe I'll be, yeah.
Yeah. So this is good. Apart from this, what you can add in your answer is you can add about negative test cases. Everyone will be writing happy path positive test cases. But since
Mm.
those are mid-level of testers, or they might not be, that much comfortable with the product, while reviewing the test case, you make sure that they have written negative test case as well. Because we don't know how the customer or client is going to use that application. Okay, they might catch hold of the ear from one direction, they might catch hold of the ear from another direction as well. But we have to make sure that irrespective of positive test cases or negative test cases, a user friendly, if any error is coming or any validation messages are being done, taken care or not. This is one of the aspect. Second thing is the test data. Okay. Now let's say if consider a very simple button is there. When I'm clicking on that button, a file needs to get uploaded. So what should be the test data? It should be able to upload a 5 MB file, 1 GB file, 1.5 GB file, 2 GB. What about a file with a 0 KB? Or what about a file with having characters in some other language? So test data plays a very significant role. So you have to make sure that they have written the test data in the test cases. Okay. Another aspect that you can add is about the roles and permissions. Let's say it's a web application and you have some security in that. Not every user has got a right to access each and every page in the application. There is one super admin who is having access to all the pages. Then within that, there are various modules, like let's say finance module is there, HR module is there, then engineering module is there. Now finance module can only be accessed by the finance people or people with the accounting kind of profiles. HR profile can only be accessed by a recruiter's team or the people who are having work in the human resource profiles simultaneously. So not everyone is having access to all the pages. So this kind of roles and permissions metrics that you can um, guide them or suggest them when you are reviewing the test cases. Now, while giving answer, you were telling about RTM, requirement traceability
Yeah.
matrix. What is that? What is requirement traceability matrix?
Yeah, so the requirement traceability matrix will come in the STLC after the test designing is completed. I mean, the test cases are done. So let's say, and the user story, I mean, let's say I have the three requirements.
Mhm.
So the RTM is what will you do? So let's say for one requirement, whether two or test cases are at least one, that requirement is covered or not in the test cases. So that is a matrix. That is a RTM, you can say. It's
Perfect.
just a mapping between the requirement and the test cases we have written.
Right. So we have to make sure that each and every requirement is being covered by the
Is covered.
test cases.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Okay. So that is RTM is also there. So that is there. Okay. Now, earlier you were now it's a different question. Okay. Earlier you were handling ABC project. Now you have been shifted to XYZ project. Okay. In that you are already having a team of 6 to 7 testers along with you. Those were already working in that project. Now, if any person is not able to, give the output as per the expected manner, then how will you guide them or how will you make sure that he is able to come up to the speed into that project? Because you are also new to
So
that
you
project. Hmm.
so
Yes.
I am new to the project and
Mhm.
in my team, so whatever in the new team, somebody is not up to the mark.
Up to the mark. Yeah.
So
So,
how I'll guide them?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So being a test lead, so like first I'll be having some communications. I'll be understanding the so first I'll be communicating with like friendly way. So I'll be understanding what is his thinking process. So in any other way can I help him to motivate? So I'll be like talking to him, knowing his strengths and weakness. So based on that I'll get some knowledge on, I mean I'll be concluding that person is that, so in which way I can help, I will be helping the persons to get out of it, and he is to be matching. So as a tester we have to, our end goal should be the quality of the system. So we have to be like, we given some project means so they are whatever investing or not like investing. So we should have some individual, it will also improve your skills. So we should do whatever the task we are given. So like I'll try to motivate him to, I'll be moreover not motivating, I'll be getting the interest what is our actual work, so that I'll motivate him to do that. So why are we here, so what is our responsibility? I'll be more highlight on the responsibilities, so that he gets some idea, like I'll be approaching.
Yeah, that's good. If you are talking to him, you will come to know whether he or she is really interested in that project. If he is not interested, then you
Mm.
can speak to the management, and you can also help him to move to another project, maybe. that might help him. So that's good. Okay, Mansa, we are done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, so thanks for having interview Rakesh. But I mean, I have been listening to your videos. Those are really helpful, and
Mhm.
you're really doing a great job. I feel in this busy schedule we have. So
Right.
I really appreciate.
Thank
So
you so
I
much.
didn't think that I'll be having a chance to work, but suddenly I see a message. I mean, in a 1 minute I got a response from you even on Saturday. So
Yeah.
I feel very happy. So let's not waste your time, as you said today. So I have to commit today.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt good. Like so, I want to
Mm-hmm.
yeah know my strengths and weakness. Still being a team lead, I was
Mm-hmm.
trying now, so
Right.
the improve still where I have to improve.
Sure, sure.
Suggestions required from your end.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mansa. And it is all with people like you and the other people that are there in the network. With your support only, this YouTube channel has been making and working over here. So you